Are you ready for some smart, plain talk on politics, Israel, and the law? It's the Andrew Parker Show. Let's roll. Welcome to another episode of the Andrew Parker Show as we talk politics, Israel, and the law. And this episode, no different, a very important episode, I believe, entitled Is Citizenship Important? Yes, I know. You really want to hear about this. And it is standing on the foundation of the issue that is people are so at each other's throats over of late, and that is deportations. As the Democrats suddenly take the view that we need to give all rights to those who are gang members, those who might be murderers, those who are in this country illegally, and that the Democrats allowed to come into the country illegally in the millions, many millions, and now are saying not only were we responsible for getting them into the country and doing nothing to protect our border to prevent that, but now that they're here, you cannot take action to remove them. So not only were we going to stand in the way of you trying to prevent them initially from coming into the country, but now that they are here, you cannot remove them as they have all of these protections. And the question becomes whether, in fact, they do have these people who are here illegally, and there is no conflict or dispute about whether they are here illegally. It is acknowledged they are here illegally, but nonetheless, they are human beings and they are here, and therefore, under our set of constitutional rights and protections, they cannot be removed without a good deal of process. And that becomes the question. And it is an interesting one. We're going to talk about that on this episode. But first, go to the andrewparkershow.com. That is our website. You can subscribe, go to the social media platforms, and follow the Andrew Parker Show right away. YouTube in particular, and subscribe/follow the Andrew Parker Show on YouTube, and you will not miss an episode. Just put in my name, Andrew Parker, and the show should pop up on the various platforms. So what is all of the headlines that we are seeing of late, where some of the worst amongst us that we are trying to remove who should never have been here in the first place and wouldn't have been here had there been a process at the border, even the most rudimentary of processes at the border? Had there been a process, they wouldn't have been here. For many, many years, when we did have immigration laws, there would be deportations. And remember, even Barack Obama deported thousands, tens of thousands of people. And Bill Clinton certainly spoke of favorably, so did Hillary Clinton, frankly, back then, favorably about deportation. But the years of Joe Biden were so horrific at the border, allowing millions of, literally, millions of people to come across the border without any process, without knowing who they are, and allowing them into the country openly, and in fact, giving them transportation to various parts of the country, all over the country, along with benefits of this country and welfare related to their existence here in this country. And none of them are citizens. None of them are paying taxes as citizens. They don't have social security numbers. They did not go through the means of coming into this country properly. And so, can we deport them? Do we have to go through a process to get them out when they didn't go through a process to come in? Am I anti-immigrant by asking these questions? Well, first off, I'm certainly not anti-immigrant. I am all in favor of an open and broad, probably much more so than certainly the mainstream of the Republican Party, but more so than most. But I am not unreasonable. I do not believe that the U.S. Constitution is a suicide pact where anyone can come in. We have no borders. And once they are here, they have all the rights and benefits of the United States as if they are citizens. Because the question is, does citizenship mean anything? Or is it now meaningless? Does being a U.S. citizen mean anything? Does it mean you have due process rights that others don't have? Does it mean you have other legal rights that others don't? Does it mean that you have benefits that those who are either just visiting or are here illegally do not have? And there are some cases that have been issued by the U.S. Supreme Court, no doubt, on this subject, and by other federal courts across the country on this subject. Many of them at the lower courts disagree one to another. But the United States Supreme Court still needs to flush out where the rights of non-citizens, illegal persons who are in this country without process, what rights they have and what rights they don't have. Now, there are cases that give illegal aliens, I'll use that phrase, despite the fact that those on the left, friends of mine on the left, hate that phrase because they are not aliens. But, the fact of the matter is, I think our Constitution even uses the term. Not aliens from another planet, but they are aliens from another country. They are not citizens of this country. But beyond that, they came into this country not through legal means, whether they're a citizen or not, but through illegal means. So they are illegal aliens, setting aside whether they are also criminals on top of that, which they may well be, criminally wanted in their home country, or they may have committed crimes since being here in this country. All of those things. Again, alien from another country, but on top of that, illegal in their presence here in this country. And on top of that, criminal, having been convicted of a crime in another country or having committed crime here since being in this country. Do those people, clearly non-citizens, have the same rights as you and I under the Constitution, under federal statute in this country? And if the administration elected democratically by almost 77.5 million people, doesn't have certain privilege in dealing with this issue. And what issues do they have executive privilege over? Now, the judiciary, certainly in our separation of powers system, has a lot to say about what the executive's rights are in dealing with these people that I've just described, in bringing justice to bear, or in deporting them because they are illegally here. It seems to many that our democratic process allows for the president to remove those that have been deemed to be, have been ruled to be, like Abrego Garcia. He on 2 occasions he's been adjudicated as being illegally here in this country. Now, he hasn't had due process as it relates to his domestic violence toward his wife, and now it's come out that she has even described that in affidavits, but he hasn't had a full-blown hearing in that regard, nor with respect to his alleged membership of the Tren de Aragua or MS-13 gang. You know, he's got the MS-13 on his knuckles or something, and there's plenty of evidence alleged that he is a member of this horrific gang. But even setting aside criminal conduct and activity by him, he is illegally here. And so the rights of the democratically elected president and where that line is the fight. My point is, in addition to the fact that our Constitution is not a suicide pact, we don't have to allow anyone and everyone into this country, nor should we, without knowing who they are. And we've been doing it now for years, both parties. And it is dangerous, and it's going to undermine who we are and what we stand for and what our moral compass, where our moral compass points. Because not everybody in the world thinks like we do. They do not believe in, the enlightenment of the United States. That we are a shining light on a hill in leadership of the world, in search of peace in the world. There are many who want to do harm to us, and we need to be careful about that. Now, there are some that believe we should have open borders and that borders and countries are an old-fashioned idea of fiefdoms and that there should be no borders, there should be a global order. I think we're not ready for that yet. I think that we have too many around the world that would be trying to control that global order for evil. And not for the morality that we believe in here in the United States, and that is peace, and that is love thy neighbor, along with many other ideas of freedom and liberty, democracy. There is strong disagreement, believe it or not, as it relates to that. And so our Constitution, our founding principles, and the foundations of this country are not set in cement where they cannot be tarnished. They can be destroyed. And it's a very thin line that can be crossed in order to destroy it. So we need to protect it every day. And citizenship in this country, citizens who believe in this country, who take an oath and pledge to support and defend this country, I would argue is important. Not illegals who come in and purposely avoid having to go through the process of learning about and taking that oath and pledge. Now, people say, oh, more people who've taken the pledge commit crimes than those who are here illegally. How is that a relevant fact? It isn't. Of course, people can commit crimes even though they're citizens of this country, but citizenship is the glue, brings us together. And all those immigrants in the 1800s and early 1900s that came here and went through Ellis Island and went through the process and still are going through the process, are going through a commitment to this country and what it stands for. And once they do, they have earned and they have the right to process. But before they do, and when they try to and intentionally avoid it, do they have those same rights? And that, is the fight at the court, the Supreme Court, and where that line is drawn is really the fight. There are a lot of cases that indicate that even illegals have that right. But that fight is being had. And Donald Trump was elected in order to have that fight, quite frankly. And so the idea that he is creating chaos and becoming a dictator and deciding who is here and who goes is simply hysteria, and not much more than that. Those are my thoughts. Putting citizenship at the top of the pyramid, and it's very important. And people should be going through the process and striving for it, and it should make a difference. This is another episode of the Andrew Parker Show. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, walk with splendor and sensibility, and very importantly, kindness. For more Smart Plain Talk, go to theandrewparkershow.com. Learn about all of your listening and viewing options. And remember, all the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. This episode of The Andrew Parker Show is sponsored by Parker Daniels Keyboard and True North Private Investments. Mark Twain once quipped, "A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. When you are lied about and it spreads, the resulting mayhem and destruction can be, and often is, disastrous."
Hi, this is Andrew Parker, co-founder of the Parker Daniels Keyboard Law Firm. I recently handled a high-profile defamation lawsuit on behalf of a luxury home real estate agent whose business was decimated by falsehoods spread about him. After nearly 2 years of litigation and 2 weeks of trial, the jury came back with a verdict of more than $2 million for our client. Parker Daniels Keyboard. We litigate cases, we try cases, and we win cases. With a record of excellence in achieving extraordinary results, Parker Daniels Keyboard lawyers have consistently won huge verdicts for its clients in the areas of defamation, civil rights violations, regulatory battles, and intellectual property theft. For wise counsel and winning results, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard, premier law firm in downtown Minneapolis.
Are you ready to take your wealth strategy to the next level? At True North Private Investments, they focus on alternative investments designed to help high net worth individuals achieve financial freedom. Diversify your portfolio with opportunities in private equity, real estate, and private credit, reducing exposure to volatile markets. And with their expert-crafted tax strategies, you'll unlock potential benefits that help you keep more of what you've earned. Smart investments, real results. Call True North today at 619-455-0275 or visit investtruenorth.com to learn more.